No. It's you in the box. It's always been you. Don't black out, man. I'm on it.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today what I have for you guys is an update on Black Ops 5 and the official confirmation from David Vonderhaar himself that Jetpacks will not be returning in Treyarch's next Call of Duty. We also have some more information on some playable characters that'll be in the next Treyarch Call of Duty as well, so definitely stay tuned for that within this video. Now, first and foremost, it was confirmed by David Vonderhaar himself after being asked about whether or not Jetpacks will be returning that no, in capital letters, Jetpacks will not be coming into Call of Duty 2020, and he also made it clear that he still has PTSD back from when Jetpacks were in Black Ops 3 and all the backlash he got for that. As you guys might remember, Advanced Movement really started with Advanced Warfare with the boost jumping and drifting in midair, but in my opinion, Treyarch perfected the Advanced Movement with Black Ops 3 by eliminating the boost jump and instead creating the thrust jump, which really just added some fluency to your gameplay with wall running and sliding. That, in my opinion, was a lot better than the movement we had in Advanced Warfare. Then Infinite Warfare was just a carbon copy of Black Ops 3, but it seems David Vonderhaar has no plans to implement that within Black Ops 5. Now, it's interesting that Black Ops 4, during early stages of development, actually had Advanced Movement as well, which explains why some of the maps really feel like they're made for Advanced Movement with wall running and thrust jumping, and the game was originally going to be a sequel to Black Ops 3, which to me makes the most sense since Black Ops 3 is by far one of the most successful Call of Duties in history, at least in terms of its community reception and microtransaction sales, so you would expect a direct sequel to Black Ops 3, but very late into development, Activision's like, nope, you gotta go back to boots on the ground, which they did, but some of the maps still feel like they were made for that Advanced Movement. Now, there's actually early gameplay of Black Ops 4, who was posted by somebody who unfortunately can't post on YouTube anymore due to some cease and desist complaints from Activision. He actually was known for posting a lot of early builds of Call of Duties and even some other games as well, and unfortunately the gameplay of Black Ops 4 during its alpha build was taken down, but did feature gameplay of boost jumping in Black Ops 4 multiplayer. So it's great that not only were we hearing this information from data miners and other leakers, but you actually had gameplay proof to back that up. Now, we also have some teases from not only the actor James C. Burns, who plays Frank Woods, but even the fan account of Sergeant Frank Woods as well, teasing that if you guys want Woods to return, Treyarch just has to ask them. He is ready for a new installment of the Black Ops franchise. And, you know, James C. Burns here and there has gotten in trouble for saying a couple of things he shouldn't have. He got in trouble recently when he recorded lines for Frank Woods in the custom Kowloon Zombies map for Black Ops 1. The map was made by Guns of Truth, and Guns of Truth had some great plans for that Kowloon map, featuring Frank Woods as a playable character, along with other characters like, I believe, Dr. Clark, and some other familiar Black Ops 1 campaign heroes. And what was going to be cool about that was really exploring Frank Woods' character in the Zombies universe, and he had recorded plenty of lines for this, and I think it was a couple of weeks before the release of this map, Activision actually knocked on James C. Burns' door saying that you shouldn't be doing that, you're receiving a cease and desist, you cannot record lines for a project that is not being made by us, which to me is very unfortunate. I think it would be a golden opportunity for Activision to allow custom map makers to incorporate, you know, fan service like that, having voice actors who are passionate about their roles come in and record lines for a custom map. It's only free publicity for Activision themselves, right? People out there would be buying Black Ops 1, giving money to Activision to play a custom map that somebody in the community passionately made featuring a familiar character. Like, it's such a missed opportunity, but unfortunately, James C. Burns got a knock on his door at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Activision told him he couldn't do that. So unfortunately, Woods was cut from the Kowloon map, and his lines are still out there somewhere, but I believe Activision also told Guns of Truth to scrap them. But that goes to show that voice actors do get in trouble quite often, even when they're super passionate about their characters, and most of the time these actors don't even know that they're crossing some boundaries, and in this case I guess he was for that Kowloon map. But don't expect any major leaks from James C. Burns, but it is funny to see him tease the fact that he is ready to play Woods once again, but that is directly supported by some recent leaks by the reliable Gaming Revolution, who was told by his sources that both Alex Mason and Frank Woods are present in the first mission of this new Black Ops campaign. So that without a doubt says that the new Black Ops game Treyarch is making is either a spin-off or a reboot to the Black Ops franchise featuring familiar characters that we all know and love. Now, what's also interesting about seeing these characters return is something that I've brought up in a previous video, and that's the fact that the final cutscene of Specialist Stories within Black Ops 4 teases the fact that somehow Woods is going to brainwash Mason into thinking that he was the one in the box and not Woods the entire time, which would mean that there would be an alternate take of events where Woods will be rescuing Mason from that jungle, as we saw from the Black Ops 2 campaign, within that giant container, which obviously throws the entire series of events out of order. Now, looking at how that would take place in a Black Ops reboot, I think it'd be very easy for Treyarch to say, okay, in the Black Ops reboot, we're going to flip things around a little bit, and we're going to play a test on Mason this time. Even though they already played a test on him within Black Ops 1, they're going to flip some of those events that happened in Black Ops 2 and see them take place differently. Now, it could all be a simulation thanks to Savannah Mason, who obviously is Mason's granddaughter, and sort of put together a group of the absolute best to take place in her Battle Royale, which is the story of Blackout. It could be something related to that, or it could be unrelated entirely, but it is pretty suspicious that Treyarch included that cutscene at the very end of Specialist Stories, even though none of us could have expected that throughout any of the previous missions. Now, some of those beautiful cutscenes from Specialist HQ were also taken directly from the scrapped campaign that Black Ops 4 had. There's obviously no way that those cutscenes were made just for such a small and very unsupported mode like Specialist Stories, and as I've also said, it's a missed opportunity that they didn't add more Specialist Stories throughout the DLC season when they added in Outrider and was it the Zero, the Spectre, the Reaper. Would have been cool to see that mode supported a little bit more throughout the season, just to give that mode more purpose and to really fulfill it in a way, having the community know that even though the game didn't have a full campaign, there still is support for the specialists in the game by giving them stories and CGI cutscenes, all that good stuff, but unfortunately it just wasn't the case. Now, I guess it is a relief for most of you people out there who aren't fans of advanced movement within Call of Duty. We'll be sticking with boots on the ground with Black Ops 5. The heavy rumors were stating that the V in Black Ops 5 would stand for Vietnam, and we do know that Sledgehammer and Raven were working on a Cold War Call of Duty before Treyarch stepped in, so for all we know, Treyarch can take whatever Sledgehammer and Raven finished and turn that into some type of Black Ops twist, or kind of tie that into a Vietnam War somehow, and then go from there. We know Activision said, okay, Sledgehammer and Raven couldn't get their shit together, so we're going to put Treyarch in charge of this project, while Sledgehammer and Raven become support studios for Treyarch, which gets my hopes up a little bit because, you know, Treyarch can have these ambitious goals, which can still get done because they can just put Sledgehammer and Raven in charge of certain tasks while they work on other things like zombies and maybe some of the multiplayer. We'll just have to wait and see how that's handled. But yeah, let me know what you think of this down below in the comment section. No boost jumping within Black Ops 5. We also have some teases from James C. Burns that Woods will be returning, even though we already know that thanks to reliable inside sources within the Call of Duty community. Now, another missed opportunity with Jetpacks now, which many of you might disagree with, is with the release of Operation Dark Divide, we did see heavy metal heroes featuring advanced movement in the big Blackout map. Now, would have been cool to see some boost jumping in Alcatraz portals as well, but I think it's a missed opportunity that they didn't make a LTM within multiplayer featuring the advanced movement, right? Some of the maps in Black Ops 4 fundamentally were made for advanced movement, and obviously right before the game came out, Treyarch made tweaks to these maps to make sure they fit well with boots on the ground too, but would have been great to see that original vision they had, you know, sort of come to the forefront within Operation Dark Divide, having an exclusive playlist in multiplayer where some of the maps that were originally built for advanced movement would now feature advanced movement, and you can boost jump just like Black Ops 3, and it's such an easy port to bring over that advanced movement. You know, they brought it to the giant Blackout map, and you would think it would take forever to QA test boost jumping on the big Blackout map, but to bring it into some of those smaller multiplayer maps would have to be a walk in the park, but it's unfortunate that they didn't take that opportunity up with Black Ops 4 multiplayer. Also going to show that, yeah, there were some massive budget cuts throughout the later half of Black Ops 4's DLC season. You had a massively successful operation like Operation Grand Heist, then everything after that seemed to be something of low budget, something with not too much ambition, and without David Vonderhaar at the forefront, right? He was at the forefront for every operation up until Operation Spectre Rising came out, when he was then moved to work on Call of Duty 2020. So it's unfortunate what budget cuts can do, but as I've said many times in the past, the many faults and many errors of Black Ops 4 had very little to do with Treyarch themselves and had more to do with how Activision handled the project going forward. But that is about it. Really hope you enjoyed. This has been DK Dynamite. Let me know what you think down below, and peace. Peace out, everyone.